Hey all, Sai here! I'm continuing to work on my mom's desk. I put the molding strips on the edges of the top piece that sits above the sliding tambour. Then I started working on the pigeonhole unit, and this sits on the desk and it goes inside and behind the tambour door. And it has a few drawers and a few cubby holes and a shelf. I cut some dados into the boards using the router table, and for a few of them I had to rig up a jig to cut the dados. Then I assembled it all together . And glued it. And when it was dry, I took off all of the clamps and I took a look at it. Next was to work on the little drawers. I adjusted these bottom boards of the drawers a little bit. So how it's going to go is like this, and this is going to go on the back, and these will go on the sides. So it'll be like this. Now, the drawers together. Woo! I'm excited. There are only 4 little drawers, so I set them all out and I glued them all up. They were just too small to use brad nails because I tried. And I used some clamps to hold them. And while those were drying, I moved to the big unit and ran the orbital sander over it, and then I did some hand sanding in those little tricky spots. Then I cut the drawer fronts last, as I learned to do when I cut them too small the first time for the desk drawers. And then I sanded them, and I checked the sizes on the pigeonhole unit. Then I added some decorative edges to them using the router table. Then hand sanded those pretty sides. And checked them out again on the pigeonhole. Then I marked the centers and I cut the adjustable screws to size. And forgot about my little tool that nips off the screws. Rats, but oh well, I was able to hacksaw them. Then I drilled the holes and tried on the knobs. And again, placed them on the pigeonhole. Then I removed the knobs so I could put the finish on the fronts before I glued them onto the drawers. And you know what? I'm really not sure why I did it this way, because I could have put the finish on afterward since there's no false front to worry about. Oh well. And when those were all set up, I glued the drawers to the fronts. Next was putting the roll top onto the desk. Okay, it's kind of scary, but I just have to do it. Just have to do it. I drilled holes through this board and then set up the side panels and put that board in place to figure out where it needed to go so I could put it permanently on the desk with some screws. Husband and the neighbor Tom helped me with this part. First, I attached one side panel with some screws, and husband had suggested using pocket holes, when the plan called for using dowels, but I liked the pocket hole idea better. The guys carried the tambour over and some stuff fell on the floor, so I was picking that up real quick. Then when I was done, I jumped in and I held one end while they worked on getting the other end aligned with the slot that's in the panel.
Okay, I will help Tom get it in the slot.
Oops.
You hold it half together and I'll work on this half.
Okay.
See how this would be impossible with one person? With two people?
You have
Three,
it?
it's not, yeah, we're good.
Then husband came over to my side while Tom held the other side in place, and we slid the panel on and moved the tambours around until they were in the slot on this side. There. Okay, now it's... Then I drove some screws into the pocket holes in that panel.
Okay.
Ah. Then I tried it out to see if it would open. Okay, now hold it right there, and I'm going to bring the top over. But I remember from the bread box that the top board is what really holds the panels in the right position to allow the tambour door to slide without being too loose or too tight. So I grabbed the top board, measured to center it.
Yes.
Okay, that's an inch, almost like an inch and a 32nd.
It's probably right there.
Ooh, drilled some holes, then drove some screws in the back.
Okay.
Then tried it out once again.
Oh, well, that seems like it's working pretty good.
Wow, it works way better than I expected it. Woo! So I placed 2 more screws on the front of that top board, first drilling a hole, then driving the screw, and checking to see if the movement of the tambour had been bothered. Okay, is that good? Yeah, I would say so. Okay. It was good, so then I drilled the last hole and placed that final screw. Wow, guys.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm so excited.
So pretty there.
Wow.
Fantastic wood.
Yeah, it works really good. Yeah.
It went on a lot easier than I expected. Okay, the drawer. I am going to flock the bottom of the drawer. I'm going to try this drawer and see if I like it. And if I like it, I'm going to do the other drawers. And if I don't like it, then I don't know what I'll do. But anyway, let's try that. So I taped off, because I'm just going to do the bottom. I was going to do all the sides, but then here's the front, and I don't know. I just thought it would look funny just being partially flocked. So I'm just going to flock that bottom part. Oh, I guess I don't need to put it in there first. So I've tried some different glues for flocking, and somebody swore by contact cement. But they said to paint your surface black first, so I painted it, but the contact cement reacted with the paint. So I'm thinking, well, can I add color to contact cement? I looked that up and I couldn't find anything about it because, you know, it's different chemicals and different sorts of things. And so I think I'm just gonna go back to the yellow glue. It's not black, but I'm hoping that it will be okay. Using black glue or having the bottom surface be black would have been a better result, I think. Putting it in this plastic container, and I also learned to make sure your container is clean, because if you want to save those flocking fibers, you want it to be clean and not mixed with sawdust and stuff. Okay, you've got my flocking gun ready. And when you think you've got enough, then do some more. Hey, I think I'm gonna like it. Cool, right. Mark the time, 2:12, so we'll give that 30 minutes. And while that was drying, I decided to try in the pigeonhole unit. I wonder how it looks. Let's find out! Nice. Sweet. Okay. Woo! Time to see how the drawer looks. So I'm taking this pink brush And I'm just gonna brush out the excess stuff. I'm gonna take the tape off. See how it looks. Okay. Okay. I think it's gonna look cool. Yay. And that is where I'm going to end this segment. So next we'll be flocking the 3 other drawers, putting some finish on the entire desk, and making the bookshelf section that goes on the very, very top of the desk. So thanks for joining me, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye!